Hi guys, my name is Tiffany and welcome to another video. So in this video, I want to talk to you guys about the realities of Bay Area nursing. So I know from my last video, I'm going to get some comments asking about Bay Area nursing, whether the application process is difficult, how competitive it is, and I'm here to answer those questions. Yes, I am from the Bay Area. I was born and raised here. I do have my family and all my friends are here. So in my last video, I talked about moving out and moving far away from my family and whether it was worth it. So please check it out in one of the cards above. And in this one, I want to talk to you guys about the process. So I first spent the first month of my application process only applying to hospitals in the Bay Area, and being specifically in neonatal ICU, there's actually not a lot of job openings. It is super competitive, and a lot of hospitals only hire you if you have experience. So I got really lucky where I was able to apply to a lot of hospitals that have new grad programs. So for example, Lucile Packard has one and UCSF has a new grad program. And in those new grad programs, usually it's like a long training process and you go in there as a new grad. So they have a specific openings for that. Other hospitals, you apply as a clinical nurse 1 and you go there as like a new grad nurse in that sense. But I did apply to Lucile Packard, I did apply to UCSF, and I also did apply to UC Davis. So if you want to count that as Bay Area, then Sacramento is, I guess, Bay Area. So I did apply to those 3. I did get interviews for all 3 of them. Unfortunately, I did not get hired in any of those units. The interview process was super challenging. They do have limited spots. So for example, when I applied to Stanford Lucile Packard, they only had, I believe, 10 openings and they were interviewing at least 50 or 60 people. So I remember going to my panel interview and there was actually another nurse next to me and they would ask us alternating questions. So I would go first and then she would go first and then she would go next. And then it was just a back and forth kind of thing. And then when I applied to UCSF, Children's Benioff Hospital, I interviewed with a panel of the manager and I believe it was also 2 other nurses there, and it was just by myself. So every interview is so different. Sometimes you may go to a panel interview, sometimes you may just have an interview with just the manager, sometimes you may have a manager and a few other nurses there. So it really just depends, and they may ask you various questions. So a lot of them that of course they ask me is like getting to know me questions, like, you know, tell me about yourself, what makes you interested in nursing, why you want to do NICU, those types of questions. And I also had interviews that are panel that asked me scenarios. So for example, when I applied to UC Davis, I went to a panel of I think 5 or 6 people there, and it was just so daunting, and all they asked me were scenario questions. So try looking online for possible scenarios, especially in NICU, like what you would do in this kind of situation. They give you an example and you kind of have to figure out what you would do as a nurse and how you would care for that patient. So those were super challenging because, to be honest, I did not have a lot of NICU experience, and obviously I'm a new grad, so I wasn't really sure how to respond to these questions, and they weren't stuff that I prepared for. So I came into that interview super unprepared, and I just knew when I walked out, like, there's no way they're going to give that to me. And yes, it was a super competitive interview as well. They were hiring, I believe, only 5 nurses, and they interviewed 20 or 30 of us. So it is super challenging. Getting a job in the Bay Area, to be honest, is so hard. And I went to multiple interviews. Those ones specifically were NICU. I also interviewed at other hospitals that were adult units, and those were challenging as well. I mean, they all ask pretty similar questions, getting to know you type of thing. And for new grad ones, I do notice that they will ask scenario questions. So just be prepared for that. But the reality of the Bay Area is it is so saturated here. There's tons of nursing schools here and so many graduating students every year that the competition is extremely high. So like I said in my last video, try looking outside your area if possible. If you get super lucky, there was a lot of my friends and a lot of my people in my cohort that got super lucky and got hired in the unit in the Bay Area. So it is possible. I'm not saying it isn't, but I just know that for my unit specifically, neonatal intensive care, it is so competitive and super challenging. And that's why I applied outside of the Bay Area and even out of state. And if possible, moving out of state may be an option for you. And if you're young, might as well do it and learn something. And like I said in my last video, take every opportunity and grow from it. You will learn so many things, and just, even if it is challenging, take what you can from the experience, learn what you can from the people, and just grow as a nurse there. And who knows, you may have other opportunities elsewhere. Maybe you might be lucky like me and love my job so much and stayed for as long as I have now. So everyone will take things differently. Don't feel discouraged. Keep chasing after your dreams. Keep applying for those positions and go to these interviews. Go for them as practice, and remember, coming out of them stronger. You will learn so much more. You will become more confident, and that's what people look for. They want to see whether you are confident or not, if you are the type of person that gets along well with other people. Those are what they're looking for. And yes, other things may also include your skill sets and what you have done in nursing school and things like that, which I will make a separate video on how you can prepare for these interviews and things that you should be doing in nursing school to help you get these jobs outside of nursing school. So I hope this video was helpful. And yes, the Bay Area is a competitive market, but I'm not saying it's impossible. So I hope you guys learned something out of this video. Please leave a comment down below whether you guys are nurses in the Bay Area. Do you live in the Bay Area? How has the process been for you guys? And if you are a student in nursing school right now, what are you doing to prepare yourself to get a job outside of nursing school? So I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.